It was a bright Saturday morning, and I felt like life was finally settling into something comfortable. I was 7 months pregnant, my belly rounding with every week, and Alex, my husband, and I were starting to feel like a real family. I imagined our future: tiny socks, lullabies, and late-night feedings. Simple, ordinary happiness. Alex had a spring in his step that morning. "I have a surprise for you," he said, grinning. I assumed it was a small gift, or maybe breakfast he had planned. I had no idea it was the start of one of the worst days of my life. We drove over to his mother's house. She greeted us warmly, though I noticed an unusual tightness in her smile. "Come in. I have something to show Alex," she said, almost hurriedly. Inside the garage, gleaming under the morning sun, was a brand new Tesla. Alex's eyes lit up, and he ran to it. "Mom, you didn't have to," he exclaimed, hugging her. "I wanted to," she said proudly. "You've worked so hard, Alex. You deserve it." I clapped politely, smiling. Part of me was happy for Alex. But as my eyes followed him, I noticed she hadn't even glanced at me. Not a "we bought this for both of you." Not even an acknowledgement that I was pregnant. Then she turned to me, her tone clipped. "You should take the bus today. It's better for you and the baby." I froze. The bus. While she handed my husband a car worth more than my entire salary, I was expected to take public transportation while 7 months pregnant. Alex looked at me nervously. "Mom, No, Alex," she interrupted. "This is the way it should be." I wanted to scream, cry, anything. But anger and humiliation clenched my stomach. I wasn't just excluded. I was invisible. The pride and generosity meant for Alex highlighted how little I mattered. For days, I replayed the scene in my head. I tried talking to Alex. "Did you notice?" I asked quietly. He sighed. "I did. I didn't know what to say. My mom, she's difficult sometimes." "She didn't mean protective," I snapped. "She made it clear I don't matter. That I'm not worth a car, or even a seat while pregnant." Alex was silent. I could see the guilt in his eyes, but he didn't confront his mother the way I needed him to. I felt alone, even with him by my side. The weeks that followed were tense. Every visit to his mother's house became a test. Small comments, sly insults, and comparisons between me and her standards reminded me I was never enough. I began dreading family gatherings. Even something as simple as choosing a restaurant or celebrating holidays turned into a minefield of humiliation. Sometimes, I would cry quietly in the bathroom, trying to hide my pain and anger. I was carrying life, yet I felt powerless. But amid the pain, a seed of determination grew. I realized I couldn't change her. I couldn't make her see me as equal or worthy. The only person whose approval mattered was me. And for the sake of my baby, I had to reclaim my dignity. I began setting small boundaries. I refused to take the bus to her house. I spoke up politely but firmly when she crossed lines or made belittling comments. At first, Alex hesitated. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "I'm not letting her disrespect me, or our family." For the first time, I felt a flicker of control. I realized that her Tesla, once a symbol of humiliation, didn't define my value. I could carve my own space, create my own rules, and protect my family. That Tesla, and the way she wielded it like a tool to elevate Alex and diminish me, became a constant reminder of the boundaries I needed to set. I refused to let it steal my joy or my dignity. My pregnancy, my efforts, and my role as Alex's partner mattered, regardless of her judgment. By the end of that first part of the story, I had made a silent promise to myself. I would no longer be invisible. I would claim my space, assert my worth, and protect my family. And that was the first step in reclaiming my life from her control. After that first humiliating morning, I realized I had a choice. I could let my mother-in-law's favoritism and cruelty define me, or I could reclaim my dignity and assert myself. For the sake of my baby, and for myself, I chose the latter. I started with small boundaries. I refused to take the bus to her house, no matter how passive-aggressive her comments were. I spoke up when she made thinly veiled insults or tried to undermine me. At first, Alex looked nervous. "Are you sure?" he asked hesitantly one evening. "Yes," I said firmly. "I'm not going to let her disrespect me, or our family." That night, as I tucked my belly against the baby bump, I felt a small surge of pride. It was the first time in months that I didn't feel powerless. I was taking back control of my life, and it felt exhilarating. Over the next few weeks, I practiced standing my ground. At family gatherings, I held my head high, refusing to be belittled. When she made comments about how I handled pregnancy, I calmly responded, "I'm doing just fine, thank you." Every time I asserted myself, the tension eased slightly. I could feel her control slipping, even if just a little. Alex began to notice the change in me. At first, he was hesitant, worried about confrontation. But slowly, he started supporting my decisions, defending my role as his partner and as a mother-to-be. Seeing him finally take a stand for me brought a mix of relief and hope. It was as if, together, we were forming a protective shield around our little family. The arrival of our baby marked a turning point. I refused to let his mother dominate those early days, insisting on making decisions for our newborn based on what was best for us, not on her demands. I created routines, made choices, and established boundaries. My home became a place where love and respect ruled, not favoritism and humiliation. The Tesla, once a symbol of exclusion, no longer mattered. I realized it never had any real power over me. My worth wasn't defined by the generosity, or lack thereof, of his mother. I had everything I truly needed: a loving husband, a healthy child, and the ability to make my own choices. As months passed, I grew stronger. I was no longer afraid of her disapproval or her judgment. I knew I deserved respect, and I demanded it. My voice mattered, and my opinions were valid. Every small victory, standing my ground, asserting my needs, protecting my family, added to a growing sense of empowerment. Alex and I celebrated holidays in ways that felt authentic to us. We created new traditions for our child, ones that didn't involve her interference. We laughed, we cried, and we built a family life based on love and equality. Slowly, my mother-in-law's attempts to control or belittle me lost their impact. Looking back, that Tesla was never about the car. It was about power, about control, about reminding me of my place. But I refused to let it define me. I had found my voice, my confidence, and my sense of self-worth. I had proven to myself, and to Alex, that I could build a family and a life that reflected my values, not her preferences. Years later, I can recall that morning without anger, only as a memory that reminds me of my growth. I am proud of how I handled it, proud of the boundaries I set, and proud of the life I have built. I don't need anyone's approval to feel valued. I have my own power, my own family, and my own sense of belonging. The lesson I learned is simple but profound. Respect is earned and claimed, not given. Family is not always about who gives the biggest gifts or who shows the loudest pride. Family is about love, care, and equality. I may have been denied a car or approval, but I gained something far more important: confidence, independence, and a life I can be proud of. I survived the humiliation. I thrived despite the favoritism. And I built a family and a life that no one, not even his mother, could ever diminish.